Hello and welcome. The goal of this podcast is to get listeners connected with others in the sports industry because they say it's all about who you know, and now you know us. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Constant Sports Podcast. I'm your host today, Connor Shank, and joining us is the man, the myth, the legend, NFL insider, football content creator, Colin Giuliani, also known as JaguarGator9, probably more prevalent that as more people know him as JaguarGator9. So thanks for jumping on today, Colin.
Thanks for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah, we're looking forward to it. So for all the viewers and listeners out there, a little bit of background on Mr. JaguarGator9 himself. So he runs a YouTube channel coined JaguarGator9, talking about the history of the NFL. He uploads every day on his channel and has for the past 3 years, posting over 1,000 videos on the history of football. The channel currently has over 50,000 subscribers and a maximum audience at one point of 125,000 viewers in a day. Also, this channel is his full-time job, is something we'll dive into as we met at the Arizona State Sports Non-Business Program, where he obtained also his JD there. So we'll touch on that a little bit, to his conversion into YouTube as his full-time job. He also has two other channels. One is directed kind of towards the college football audience and whatnot. That's JaguarGator8. He's also got a baseball channel called JaguarGator7. And then we'll kind of jump in, Colin, here to your background. So you went to High Point University, where you got your sports communication, also a minor in sports management. So what was it about sports, specifically with the sports management minor and whatnot, that you chose High Point and you wanted to take your education in that realm there?
Yeah, there were a lot of reasons why I chose High Point. I mean, the campus was just beautiful. The dorm rooms were amazing. But from the sports standpoint, I always knew I wanted to do something in sports. I knew that for a very long time, that sports was my passion. I wanted to pursue that passion. I wanted to do something in sports. And High Point really gave me an opportunity that not a lot of schools did. They have this program called SportsLink. And what SportsLink is it's basically all student run. So every broadcast that you see on ESPN Plus, whether it's basketball, I don't think basketball anymore. I think they got professionals to do announcing for that. But basketball, volleyball, lacrosse, baseball, you name it, any sport, every production is student run. So the graphics, the production, the director, the announcers, everything is done by students. And I thought to myself, that is a great opportunity for me. That is a great opportunity to get my feet wet and do a bunch of different broadcasts. I eventually became the head of the program for the final 2 years that I was there. I worked on the announcing side, did some production stuff as well, but I worked about 200 games there, got to do some NCAA tournament games for soccer, which was awesome. Got to do some conference tournament games for volleyball when the conference hosted the tournament at High Point. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was like, I'm going to get some really good experience, going to get some really good experiential learning opportunities. Let's do it at High Point. Why not?
Yeah, no, it'd be wonderful. And that's really what it's all about, right? Getting the experience and learning and seeing what you like and don't like. So you mentioned you did over 200 broadcasting games and events there. Is it the Big South Conference?
Yes, Big South.
Right?
Yeah.
So
one of the few conferences that we have not, or one of the few conferences that have not been heavily impacted by the real.
I was gonna say they're not jumping ship anytime soon. So what was it about broadcasting that? I mean, is that something you wanted to go into? You want to be a broadcaster? So you kind of what led you down that path?
Oh yeah, I've always loved the broadcasting idea. I've always been the person that has been commentating on games. Back in high school, I was working on broadcasting for football and for baseball. I just always loved doing that. I would always, when I would play video games like Madden and FIFA, I would turn the volume off and I would just commentate the game myself. I would do that, which is great practice. If anyone wants to get into that field, that is phenomenal practice. If you do want to get into broadcasting, try that. It will make it a lot easier for you. But I always loved doing that and was like, I want to try something in broadcasting. I knew after going to High Point that it wasn't for me, in the sense that it's a lot of nights, a lot of weekends, a lot of travel. Yeah. I didn't really like the direction the industry was going in, but it was so much fun to do. And I would love to just hop on games. I mean, I do live streams now where I broadcast games from my apartment. And I would love to just if High Point ever gets me back, if I ever visit High Point again, I would love to hop on some games and whatnot. So I still keep that chapter open, but I loved every second of it. It just wasn't for me long term, but I always wanted to do something in the broadcasting industry.
Yeah, well, that's important to figure out early in a career, right? So, you might think you like something, so you go on that path, but then you realize, okay, maybe it's not for me, and you kind of choose a different, divert courses there, and then you ended up you came on the West Coast, so East Coaster, ended up here on the West Coast, and you came to the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law at Arizona State, where you got your master's in sports law along with your JD. So I'm assuming you're thinking lawyer, law schools, were you sports agent? What was the JD and MLCB program about?
Yeah, so when I was thinking about going to law school, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do yet with my career, but there was something about the agency route that intrigued me. There was something
Mhm.
about being a sports agent. I was like, look, I'm good with stats. I'm good with all that kind of stuff. Good with contract negotiations. I took a lot of classes. In undergrad, I took a sport law class, and there was like a mock trial. I'm like, I could be pretty good at this. So I decided, you know what? Let's go to law school. Let's go to Arizona State. Part of the reason why was because they were the first one to get back to me. They called me back in October, and I was like, okay, they're on my radar now. I always want to go on the West Coast, also. Just better time zone, better weather. Just I love it out here.
Uh-huh.
But the other thing with ASU was just besides the fact they have the sport law and business program, which was huge for me. The big thing for me, the selling point for me, was honestly taking a class with Bud Selig.
Yep.
I was like, you know what? How many places are you going to be able to pick the commissioner of baseball's mind for half a semester? And I was like, that is the big selling point. I'm
Oh yeah, no doubt.
when I was like thinking, like when stuff was getting bad in law school, I was like thinking about like maybe switching course, maybe like dropping out. Like, now you got to stick in just for the commissioner's class. Just stay for the commissioner's class because
Hold
this is a
on tight.
lifetime opportunity.
No, yeah, it's perfect, and you know he's kind of the namesake of the program. So if
Oh, yeah.
you know baseball people, I mean, not even if you're in baseball, just in general, you know, working with the commissioners is super cool like that, and so that's definitely one of their biggest selling points. The program also, like you said, the weather, location's perfect, and Arizona's a good spot for sports. I mean, not successful sports maybe, but definitely sport teams and sporting events.
Diamondbacks are breaking my heart right now.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks are
Hey,
breaking
yeah.
my heart.
You could be a Padres fan like myself. So
Oh,
hey, hang on tight.
oof.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll
Both
just
got to worry
skip.
about the Dodgers. We
Yeah,
both got to worry about the Dodgers.
yeah, we'll
So.
skip over. We'll skip over that and the suffering as a San Diego sports fan myself. But so let's kind of dive into so now you're full-time YouTube content creator, football insider extraordinaire. So what was it? You know, kind of the decision, the inflection point of all right, I'm going to law school, but then all right, I'm going down this career path full time.
Yeah, so what happened with the YouTube thing was basically when I was an undergrad, I would do a lot of just research for the sporting events that I would cover. Because one of the big things with broadcasting is preparation.
Yep.
You got to be prepared. You can't just hop on the mic and just do it like that. You have to be prepared. You have to know all the stats, do your research beforehand, think about talking points. So every single time in college, when I was not working a game, I was basically just researching for games that I was going to call. And
Mm,
that took up a lot of time. When I went to law school, I didn't really have that outlet. I didn't have that outlet at all. It was just I show up to class and then I come back.
yep.
And I had a lot of free time compared to what I had in college.
Mhm.
And I was all on my own. I didn't have any family out there. I knew no one when I went out there. So I was basically a lone wolf out there. So I was like, you know what? I love talking about NFL history. I wrote a lot of stuff about NFL history. I had a blog back in high school. I did some posts on Reddit. I was like, you know what? Let's take these things and turn them into videos. I know there are a lot of content creators that's starting out to get big on YouTube. Your
Uh-huh.
Name Tree, a big one that was a big inspiration for me. John Boys from Secret Base.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, let's try this route and let's just see what happens. And it was just a hobby for me. It was just a hobby, and it grew. It grew for sure. It was just a fun thing on the side to do while I was in law school. I would come
Yeah.
back and I'd work on videos, and then COVID happened. And when COVID happened, I went back to New York to stay with the family because there's no point in quarantining out here by myself.
Right.
So I went back to New York. And I thought to myself, look, there's nothing going on in the world. There's absolutely nothing going on. There are no sporting events on. There's
Yep.
no social gatherings that you are going to. You're stuck in this house for the next 6 months before the next semester
Yeah. Foreseeable
starts.
future.
Yeah, you're stuck here. So, and there's nothing happening in the world. So, you know what? Let's do this YouTube thing and let's just pump something out every day. That's gonna be the thing. Law school's kind of on the back burner because everything's pass fail.
Uh-huh.
And I had a professor that said, look, I've been teaching for 10 years. I failed 2 people in my life. One person wrote down nothing on the final, the other person wrote down one sentence. So that was when I was like, oh, you have to actually try to fail in law school.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't about ABC at that point, it's pass
Mhm.
fail everything that semester. So I was like, you know, let's make it a mission to post every day on the channel. Find something to pass the time and let's post something every day. I was like how a lot of people took that time to like better themselves and start new projects. That was my thing. I was taking the channel more seriously and instead of treating it like a hobby, treating it like a full-time job, even though I wasn't really making anything off of it.
Right.
And then it just kind of grew from there. And then when everything got back to normal and I went back to Arizona and things were starting to loosen up
Mhm.
and football season was back, I thought to myself, I'm never one to just rest on my laurels. I'm never one to go back to where things were. Let's keep doing this and let's keep posting every day, even when law school was starting back up and everything was back in person, everything was go back to normal. I just kept doing that and kept doing that. And then eventually, like 2.5 years ago, it went from, this is good side money, it's fun, to, oh, wait a sec, this could actually be,
Might have something here.
this could be like a career.
Yeah.
It took off from that point, and it just kept taking off. And I've been very fortunate, very blessed to do it. And I knew at that point, look, I'm going to finish law school. But after that, I'm going full on into YouTube. I'm just going to try and make this thing work. And fortunately, so far it has, which I've been really, really fortunate about. So I basically took COVID as a learning opportunity for me to, like, I had free time. I was like, I'm going to do something with my time. I'm going to better myself for it. And it's led to this incredible career that I have right now. It's still a job for sure, but it is the most fun job I can imagine. Like 10-year-old me would have just been in awe of everything.
Yeah, I was going to ask earlier if you were to go, because you had some tweets there that you kind of went down the same like rabbit hole here. But it was, if you were to go to your 14-year-old self, what would you say? At 14-year-old JaguarGator9, what would you say to yourself now looking back?
I would tell him, look, first off, you're going to have a franchise quarterback. Trust me, you're going to have a franchise quarterback at some point. Like, trust me, all these years of pain are going to be worth it. But he would say, look, your dream job growing up was like to work for ESPN, work in broadcasting, and you kind of get to do that on your own terms. You get to wake up every day, and you just get to go into an office surrounded by all this football stuff and just talk football for a living. Like I just tell them, stay the course, man, because you are going to be in awe of the life that you've created for yourself.
Oh, I love it. Love everything about it. And also for the viewers and listeners that have not seen JaguarGator9's man cave office, football den, whatever you like to call it, it's extraordinary. He posted a few weeks ago about kind of how it came to be, and it's I mean, you can see obviously a little bit here, but it's something to behold. He's got how many jerseys and helmets do you have in there?
Yeah. I think it's 231 autographed mini helmets. We're adding a few more full-size helmets. So I think it's gonna be about 32 or 33. And then jerseys we're at 47, and I have a few more coming in because I have some expansion pads in here. So I think it's gonna be 55 autographed jerseys.
Yeah, so yeah, he's got quite the office there down there. So let's just dive in a little bit to kind of how you created your, I mean, your dream life, your dream career, right? You kind of, like you said, in COVID, just went for it. Put your head down, got after it. So you mentioned you upload daily. Kind of what does your schedule look like? What's your day to day, in the sports world?
It depends on the day itself, but it's a lot of work. I will say this: as great as the job that I have, it doesn't feel like work to me a lot of the time. But it is a lot of work. It is about 80, 90 hours a week. I'll put it this way: Sundays in particular during football season are, I work 9 to 5 Sundays during football season, but by 9 to 5 I mean 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. It is brutal. So it starts where I basically watch the football games. Sunday Night Football, I live stream the game with my followers, and then I'll work on the video and I'll do a Q&A stream after that for about 2 hours, talking about all the games and whatnot. And then I'll work on the video coming out the next day about something that happened during that day, probably a dumb decision by a head coach or something.
Yep, love it.
Usually the schedule is work on a video, find the story, which can sometimes take 3 minutes. Sometimes it can take a lot of digging. Find the story, write the script, record everything, find the clips that you need. And I'll do that once, sometimes even twice a day, because I have to work on the college football channel, the baseball channel as well. Wednesdays, on top of all that, I do live trivia. So I have to create the trivia questions, set up the stream for that. And I do that for Thursday Night Football, and I do that for Monday Night Football as well. So it is a lot. Basically, every waking moment of my life, if I'm not sleeping, with very few exceptions, I am working in the office. I'm staying here, just working nonstop,
Pumping out the football content, and I guess baseball too.
Because I figure like everyone's got a niche. Everyone's got a niche, and everyone's got something that sets them apart from everyone else. My thing is not just NFL history, and there's so many stories about NFL history throughout all the years that no one has uncovered really. My thing is that I upload every day. And I take a lot of pride in the fact that every single day at 9 a.m. Eastern, you can expect an upload. And there's not any channels really that do that in my realm. So I'm like, I found my thing that sets myself apart, and I'm going to just stick with it. I take a lot of pride in my work ethic and just how insane everything is. But
Yeah,
I love
right.
it.
Yeah, I mean it's discipline, right? And that's kind of how the successful become successful. It's the discipline, daily kind of actions that you do. And so pumping out those, those videos every day, and your audience is growing as you've I guess you've seen, and as I've seen, kind of just been following it since I guess I met you was that year and a half ago or something,
Yep.
and you just pumping out this content. I mean, absolute juggernaut you are. So it's been fun to see. So I guess what's your favorite part about creating the football, I guess, and or baseball content? Is finding the videos, making the stories.
Yeah, it's tough. A lot of the time, just finding the stories themselves is crazy. Like I found some crazy stories that no one else has uncovered or talked about before because they're like a blurb or two in a newspaper article, and I'm like, wait a sec, that's actually fascinating.
Yeah,
Why do you not elaborate on? Why'd you not elaborate on that? Or like, how did this get lost throughout history? So just finding the stories and thinking, okay, how am I going to piece this together? That part's a lot of fun. The other fun part is interacting with the fans and seeing their reactions when I post the videos. Like I get some comments saying, like, this took me back to my childhood. There have been some things that I got where I forget, there was a video I did, and the guy, like, I forget what exactly it was, but the guy was like, look, I've been thinking about this honestly. I was wondering as a kid for the last 35 years why this happened, and now I know because of your
that's beautiful.
thank you so much. And I'm like, oh my God, wow, that's amazing. Or like when people say, look, I'm a diehard fan of this team, I had no idea about this story. The most rewarding part by far is I've gotten comments from players and stuff that have watched my videos on them. And when they say, oh, this took me back, or like, thank you so much. There was one player that died recently, Jerry Ellis. And I saw his family watched my video that I did on him after he died. And he was and they were like, I had no idea about that story of him. Like,
Wow, very cool.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I love uncovering history like that. I
Yeah.
really, that's my favorite part of the job by far, uncovering history and then watching people's reaction to my uncovering of it.
Yeah, cool. That's cool kind of mission, and that is fun. That I mean, that's cool and also sad, I guess, that about that story where the family didn't know, but then obviously you're the history, NFL history buff and whatnot, uncovering that's giving people the opportunity to, like you said, go back and relive moments. And I mean, that's the cool thing about sports is like a game-winning field goal, a Hail Mary, like you've never forget that. Like you instantly get taken back. And so for people watching your videos, I'm sure it's a similar feeling where they instantly get taken back to them being 12 years old in their basement or whatever, watching the game,
Yeah. I think speaking of Hail Mary, my favorite video, or one of my favorite videos, or comments that I got on a video was I did a while ago, back in 2020 when the Jets played the Raiders. Greg Williams called like a blitz on a Hail Mary.
Oh, loved it. Yep.
Remember that. And I had a theory about why he did that. I went back to like 2010. The Saints were on a bye that week. Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator, and that was the same week that the Jaguars-Texans Hail Mary happened with Mike Thomas, where they played everyone back, and the ball just went right into Mike Thomas's hands. And I said, I have a theory that this might be why he did that, because every Hail Mary that Greg Williams was on before that, he's sent everyone back. And everyone since then, he blitzed. So I had a theory. And then a player saw my video, a Saints player commented on my video and said,
no way.
Hey, your theory is 100% right.
That's
like
awesome.
Greg Williams actually said that. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Look at this.
Like I just uncovered something. I just broke news.
That's awesome. I mean, it makes sense. I do remember that all out blitz, blitz the house and then just walked into the end zone.
I was furious because I thought we were going to lose Trevor Lawrence on that. I was like, I need the Jets to win.
But it did in the end. So I guess we'll kind of segue into the NFL a little bit more here. So we just had some questions regarding kind of NFL and the business. So where do you think, or do you think the NFL will ever actually place a team in another country?
I think so. I think they've realized at this point, look, we've kind of maxed out in America. Like, I'm not sure how much bigger you can get in America.
Right.
The ratings have kind of plateaued for Super Bowl and for everything. You've basically played in all the major markets. Maybe there's like 4 more markets you could realistically put a team in America before you oversaturate things. But other than that, I think definitely we're going to see a team in Mexico at some point, and England, I think we're going to see at some point as well. I think Europe is the next frontier.
Yeah,
for sure.
No doubt.
I don't know when, but probably in the next quarter century.
Yeah.
I think Roger Goodell's final thing he does as commissioner will be putting a team, whenever that is. I think his final thing, his legacy, will be putting a team in Europe.
But yeah, that would be a lasting legacy in and of itself, because he just signed his he just re-signed, right? Didn't he?
Yeah.
A few months ago, so he'll be there for
Yep.
a few more years at least. And I think yeah, Europe would be cool. The travel would be interesting though. I mean, it would be. I mean, I guess they ought to do it now, but it'd be on a more consistent basis, I guess. So
My guess with if you were to do it, my guess is that you would have a hub city. So you would practice in that hub city, then just fly back and forth to the European city. So, like, let's say you have a team in London, let's say. They would set up camp. They would do everything in, let's say, like Raleigh, Durham, or Richmond, or somewhere like that, somewhere on the East Coast. And then they just fly out for those games. And then maybe they have like 3 or 4 games in a row at home in London, and they just stay there. But for everything else, they would set up a base somewhere in America. That'd be my guess. That'd be the logical way to do it.
Yeah, yeah, that would be logical. Sometimes, yeah, these people aren't too logical with decisions, but that would make sense there. And then, what are your thoughts on kind of the college football, as you have your college football channel there, on the the conference is basically imploding. You got the Pac-12, who's looking to have their best year as a conference, and then imploding here within next year. Where do you see the conferences? Do you think mega conference? Do you think what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. Look, for football, I don't mind it. For football, I will say I don't mind it because you're playing one game a week. These schools have the budget to travel back and forth, and it's one game a week.
Yep.
They're pretty much doing that as it is. So I don't mind it for college football. I hate that we're losing like regional rivalries like that, but I don't mind it necessarily. But I just look at it for the non-revenue sports. I don't know how they're going to survive. Yeah. Like, you're telling me volleyball and, let's say, Oregon and whatnot, like, you're going to have to fly constantly commercial to New Jersey and Maryland and Pennsylvania. I don't know how these non-revenue sports are going to survive. I really don't. I just feel so bad for the athletes there because we're taking away so much of the student athlete experience. Like, I'm not sure how much they're going to be on campus.
Yeah.
Again, for football, I don't mind it because you're doing that travel anyways. And it's one game a week. It's not a big deal. But I really wish that these conferences stayed intact just for the non-revenue sports, because it makes a difference. I don't know how a lot of these sports are going to survive because they're going to be the first ones cut when the money's not adding up.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that's what, a lot of us thought when this first happened, right? It's like, you got these West Coast schools playing Rutgers. Like, how's, men's baseball, women's softball, like, you're playing a 3-game homestand, and that's back and forth. You're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Are you going to fly back? I mean, you're missing 4 or 5 days of travel in 1 week. Yeah. Like, that's just, that's a mess.
Like I don't know, with SMU in particular, with SMU, there's not going to be a single school in driving distance of SMU.
Oh yeah,
they join the ACC. It makes no. I don't like it for that reason. Yeah. I think we took the wrong lessons from COVID. I think COVID said, look, you can learn virtually, so we don't necessarily need to be on campus. But that's the exact opposite of what we should have looked at, because it's a completely different experience, and you need to be on campus. There's something about that, and a lot of these student athletes are going to be missing that, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, it'll be fascinating where they go next, and if what happens with the NCAA and their interesting decisions as they've been making as a business or corporation. So yeah, it'll be who knows where the NCAA will be in 5-10 years. I mean, that's a new story in of itself. It's a 30 for 30.
Yeah, it'll look a lot different than it is now.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see what that looks like. So as we know, NFL season, NFL kickoff tomorrow, finally here. So as the NFL insider yourself, football content master, we're gonna roll through some of our picks here. See what you think about the season, the upcoming, divisions, rookies of the year, defensive players of the year, and whatnot. So let's hear your thoughts on the AFC East. Who do you think's coming out of the AFC East division champ there?
Ooh, that's tough. Look, I gotta go Buffalo. I'm going to be pretty basic and go Buffalo, but I mean, that's the toughest stat that division it's been in years. Nothing besides New England winning that would be shocking to me.
Yeah.
I could see Miami making a leap now that you got a very good defensive coordinator and you bolstered up that team in a big way. I could obviously see the Jets with Aaron Rodgers and that offense, but I'm going to stick with Buffalo. I think they're the most well-rounded team, but nothing outside of New England would shock me.
Yep. I think I agree there. I'm going Bills too, but the Jets, I feel like it's kind of like they could just suck like 10-7. I mean, like, a few games over 500, they could go like 13-4 or something. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way, to be honest. So I'm with you there. And then AFC West, I think the Chiefs are coming out of there. I'm not sure until someone beats them. Really, I don't know. What about you?
Nope. My thing is I'll believe it when I see it. I'll
Yep.
believe it when I see it. Until someone ends up throwing the Chiefs, there's no reason to bet against them.
Yep, I'm with you there. And then we'll go AFC North. Thoughts
Eh,
thoughts there?
Yeah, I'll say the Bengals. I can't trust Lamar to stay healthy.
Yep.
Steelers, too many question marks. I mean, I think Pickett improves from year 1 to 2, but too many question marks for me. And the Browns, Watson has not looked good since 2020. He did not look good last year. Has not looked that good this preseason. So I'm going with Cincy.
Yep, I'm with you there. And then we'll go. I mean, I don't think we have to ask, but we'll go AFC South. Who do you think's coming?
I will say this: don't sleep on the Titans. They were 8-3 last year before everyone just died on them.
Yep.
Derrick Henry is still Derrick Henry. Tannehill's still a pretty good quarterback.
Mhm.
Mike Vrabel's a heck of a head coach. They got rid of Todd Downing as the offensive coordinator. I think Titans are going to surprise a lot of people, but I think the Jags have too much firepower. I think the Jaguars win that division.
Agreed. Yeah, I think so too. Especially with two rookie quarterbacks in the division, I think those are some working out pains that they'll have to go through. So.
Yep.
And then we'll go NFC East. I think the Eagles are coming out of there. Tight division, but I think they're going to beat up on each other. So I'll go NFC West. I got the Niners. What about you?
I got the Niners. I think, look, Geno Smith did not look at the second half of the season. He kind of fell off. The Cardinals are just a mess in every way. And the Rams can't stay healthy. They have no one on the defense. They're in some trouble. They'll be better now that Stafford's healthy, but it's the Niners division I'll lose.
Yep, no doubt. And then NFC South. What are your thoughts?
Saints. I don't trust the Falcons. I don't trust Arthur Smith as head coach. He is one of the worst coaches in in-game management, and I don't trust Desmond Ridder at QB. Buccaneers are a mess at QB. Panthers, I watched their preseason. There's a lot of work to do. Bryce Young, he's iffy. There's a lot of work to do. I think the Saints have the best team in that division.
Yep, agreed there. I'll go NFC North.
I got the Lions. I like what they
right.
did last year. Vikings won a lot of one-possession games last year. Usually that's a pretty good indicator they're going to collapse the year after that.
Yep.
Bears, I think, are going to be on the rise. I could see them making a wild card, but I don't think they have enough necessarily to win the division. And the Packers, I mean, Jordan Love's just too much of a question mark.
Yep, no doubt. And we, my co-host, Callan Coolman, part owner of the Green Bay Packers, wanted me to ask you specifically what are your thoughts on Jordan Love and where do you see him this season?
Yep. I am also a part owner of the Packers. I did buy shares back in 2021, I think it was when they went on sale. Yeah, so I have that frame in my room. Yeah, look, I wasn't high on Jordan Love coming out of Utah State. Having said that, he looked pretty good this preseason. There's going to be a lot of growing pains for sure. I think he'll be all right. I think he's going to be all right this season.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, especially the first round, I thought that was quite a reach. But we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. And then we'll go MVP. Who's your MVP pick for this year?
Oh man, MVP. I'm going to be very biased. I'm going to say Trevor.
Hey, I love it. He's got the weapons, so he's got the skill positions around him to really get it done. So
it's tough for a guy to win back-to-back. And Mahomes for a guy to win 3. So I don't think, even as well as Mahomes will play this year, I don't think he will win MVP for that reason. I think the Jags, if they win 12 or 13 games, I think Lawrence has MVP.
Yep, beautiful. And then we'll go Rookie of the Year. What are your thoughts?
Rookie of the Year. Ooh, man, that's tough. It's so basic, but I watched Bijan Robinson play in that second preseason game. He was just on another level. He was electric. I think he wins offensive. I think Christian Gonzalez wins defensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay, perfect. And then what about Offensive Player of the Year?
Offensive Player of the Year. If he can stay healthy, I think McCaffrey. Okay. I saw what he did the second half of last year. Yeah. Give him full season in San Fran. I think he's going to win Offensive Player of the Year.
Yep, no doubt, especially full season there. And plus the training camp, off-season program, all that. So we'll go with your Super Bowl matchup and Super Bowl winners. The winner, I guess, there's only one.
Yeah. So Super Bowl matchup. I got the Chiefs. Look, at the end of the day, they've made it to 5 straight conference championships with Mahomes at QB.
Yep.
And the 2 that they lost in overtime. So they've never trailed after 60 minutes with Mahomes as a starter.
Absurd stat.
Which is insane to me. Insane. So until someone dethrones them, I think the Chiefs make it. NFC, who's coming out of there? Oh man, I don't know who's coming out of the NFC. That is such a tight conference. I don't want to go the Eagles again, but I mean that defensive line is so good.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's really the Eagles. The Niners have a question mark at QB if Purdy coming off the injury. The Lions, I can't pick a non-playoff team to make it right away. I'm going to be basic. I'm going to say Chiefs Eagles again.
back to back. Who do you think it's a revenge game, or you think
I
the
think the
Chiefs
Chiefs.
are back to back?
I'm not betting against Mahomes.
I mean, you can't do it. Unfortunately, I mean, he's been too good. The guy doesn't play in road playoff games. I
Nope.
mean, ever. He doesn't lose games in regulation in the playoff. Like the dude, it's just crazy the type of production. And even with Travis Kelce out, I mean, it doesn't really matter who's throwing the ball to. He'll figure out a way to get it to him and for the offense to work. So yeah,
I mean,
until
they traded away their best receiver last year, a guy who could easily have 2,000 yards this year, and they still made the Super Bowl and they show no signs of slowing down. Like that's how good Mahomes is. That's how good that offense is.
Yeah, it's an absolute juggernaut. So yeah, I think they're kind of until someone beats the champ, they're the champ. So I'm going with them as well. I got what is it, 49ers making it though. I liked. I mean, I don't know, the offense without a quarterback, they still kind of figure it out. It'll be interesting. I think Purdy's going to digress a little bit. I don't think he's going to be undefeated or whatever he was, last year. I think that's just too much to ask for him.
Yeah, I still not coming off the injury, but he's going to be good. He's going to be good. I like his composure. I like he plays smart. So we'll see.
Especially within that offense, plays within the offense, doesn't do too much stuff. Gets
doesn't
the
have to do a whole
weapons.
lot,
Exactly.
Just don't make mistakes.
Yeah, turn around, throw it to Debo, hand it to Christian McCaffrey, find your tight end,
get Ayuk every now and then.
Yep. Perfect. Well, JaguarGator9, we appreciate you jumping on today, spreading the football content history with us and sharing your stories. So we'll give you here the next 2-3 minutes to kind of we'll give you the floor where the listeners can find you, things to keep an eye out for. Floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. So I post every day on my YouTube channel, JaguarGator9, some of NFL history. On that channel, I also do live streams of NFL games where we watch the games together. I do that every Thursday night for football, Sunday night football, Monday night football, some select games as well on top of that. So come join me for that. It's a lot of fun. I have a college football channel, JaguarGator8, post on that a bit. JaguarGator7, a baseball channel. Same thing, just the history of baseball. You can find me on Twitter. I post a lot of cool stuff there at JaguarGator9 NFL, or on X, I guess it's now. Whatever the name is at this point. Let's see. I have a Patreon. If you want to support the channel that way, you get early access to videos. You get the ability to request video topics for me to cover. You get a lot of cool perks as well. I also have YouTube memberships. That's another way to support the channel if you like what you see. Also have a JG9shop.com if you want to buy merch with my logo on it. The big thing though, I love Stump the Schwab growing up. My favorite show on ESPN. Love that show. I watch it religiously. So I was like, I'm going to create my own. And I created a trivia show called JG9 Live, and we play every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We play on Twitch at JaguarGator9 NFL. I also simulcast it on YouTube, and basically it's about a 90-minute game show. I ask nothing but NFL history questions, and the winner at the end of the show gets a cash prize. We've done this for 3 years. We've given away over $10,000 in cash prizes. It's a lot of fun. We get a pretty good crowd, so make sure to tune in for that. And on when we do the streams for the games Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, I'm experimenting with a platform that we're going to do a trivia show at halftime of those, a live trivia show at halftime, and give away some money there. So go check that out. Come join for streams. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, a lot of platforms you can follow me on, but you like NFL history, I post every day, 9 a.m. Eastern on JaguarGator9. And hopefully I post stuff that you have no idea about. And Mondays, when I post, it will be about something that happened on Sunday, a dumb decision made by a coach. I always raise my voice and go crazy for that one. So those are always fun to record. So make sure you check that out. If you like football, you want to follow me this football season, you know where to go.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, appreciate it. We'll leave all your channels there and your streams and whatnot. So we'll link that in the descriptions. Also pop it up here when we upload. So yeah, thanks again for everyone listening and watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Podcasts will be available on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. And we're looking forward to the NFL season. And thanks again, JaguarGator9, for joining us today. And thanks again for the listeners and viewers for watching. So we'll see you next time.